Somalia's industrialization push, China's zero tariffs amid political chaos. July 2026. While the world watches Sudan's bloody siege in El Obeid and Ethiopia's dangerous border dance with Eritrea, a quieter revolution is unfolding in Somalia. Or is it President Hassan Sheikh Mohammed's government is betting everything on a bold industrialization drive, powered by China's sweeping zero-tariff policy for African nations? Factories, export zones, ports upgraded with foreign cash. The promise: transform Somalia from a failed state stereotype into East Africa's next emerging economy. But here's what they don't show you on the evening news. Just weeks ago, heavy fighting ripped through Mogadishu. Government troops clashed with opposition militias over a controversial term extension. Dozens dead, thousands displaced, and Al-Shabaab still controls swathes of the countryside. Can Somalia industrialize while its politics burn? Or is Beijing's tariff-free lifeline just another lifeline for a government on borrowed time? This is an investigative deep dive. I'm your host, and today we're pulling back the curtain on Somalia's high-stakes economic gamble. To understand the ambition, you have to go back to the numbers. Somalia's economy has been shattered by decades of conflict. Remittances from the diaspora keep many families afloat. Traditional livestock exports and fishing provide some revenue, but the government wants more, much more. In recent statements and policy pushes, Mogadishu is talking industrialization, value-added processing, and export-led growth. Light manufacturing, agro-processing, fisheries modernization, even potential mineral and energy sectors. The anchor: China's decision to grant zero tariffs on a wide range of African exports. This isn't charity, it's strategy. Beijing gains reliable suppliers, new markets, and deeper footholds in the Horn. For Somalia, it's a potential game changer. Goods entering China duty-free could mean real foreign exchange earnings, money desperately needed to rebuild institutions, pay soldiers, and deliver services. Sources close to the file describe high-level delegations, memoranda of understanding, and Chinese technical teams already on the ground assessing port capacity and special economic zones. Berbera in particular has seen major upgrades, infrastructure that could serve both commercial and, some analysts quietly note, strategic purposes. But here's the first red flag in our investigation. Scale. Somalia starts from an extremely low base. According to available economic assessments, the country still grapples with one of the lowest GDP per capita figures in the world. Infrastructure is patchy. Skilled labor is limited after years of brain drain. And security remains the ultimate tax on any investment. Yet the rhetoric in Mogadishu is confident. Officials point to Puntland and Somaliland experiments in stability and trade as proof that pockets of progress are possible. The federal government wants to knit these together under a national industrialization strategy. Now the complication. In May 2026, President Hassan Sheikh Mohammed's constitutional mandate was set to expire. Parliament passed amendments extending his term by 1 year. The opposition cried foul, calling it a power grab. By early June, tensions exploded into armed clashes in Mogadishu. Heavy fighting in districts like Hal Wadag and Abdiaziz. Government forces traded fire with militias aligned to former presidents and prime ministers. At least 13 dead, nearly 200 injured, over 12,000 households displaced according to UN tallies. Clan elders eventually mediated a fragile calm, but the underlying rift remains. Federal member states are divided. Some reject the extension outright. This isn't just politics, it's a direct threat to the investment climate. Who invests in factories when the capital can erupt in urban warfare? Al-Shabaab watches these divisions closely, ready to exploit any security vacuum. The group has regained territory in central regions, despite US and partner strikes. Our investigation reveals a deeper pattern. Somalia's electoral roadmap for 2026 has been contentious for years. Without broad consensus on power sharing and constitutional clarity, every economic initiative risks becoming politicized, or worse, captured by competing factions. China's zero tariffs are attractive on paper, but execution requires stable governance, rule of law, and reduced corruption. Somalia scores low on all three right now. Enter China. Zero tariffs are part of a broader belt and road footprint in the Horn. Ports, roads, energy, all familiar tools. For Somalia, this could mean technology transfer, training programs, and market access that Western partners have been slower to offer at scale. Proponents argue this is South-South cooperation at its best, no lectures on governance, just pragmatic deals. Somali officials have highlighted potential in textiles, leather, sesame, and fish processing for the Chinese market. But investigative journalists have documented patterns elsewhere: hidden debt clauses, opaque contracts, and strategic concessions. In Somalia's case, with weak institutions, the risk of elite capture is real. Will revenues flow to public coffers or private pockets? There's also the security angle. Upgraded ports like Berbera raise questions about dual-use potential. While Somali authorities deny formal foreign military bases, satellite imagery and reports suggest growing external footprints. How does this square with sovereignty and long-term economic independence? Meanwhile, traditional partners, Turkey, UAE, EU, continue their own investments. This creates a competitive marketplace, but also fragmentation. Somalia risks becoming an arena for great power economic rivalry rather than a master of its own destiny. Here is the high-stakes crossroads. Somalia stands at a genuine inflection point. The combination of China's tariff opening and its own young, entrepreneurial population could spark real structural change if the politics stabilize. Yet the June clashes prove how quickly gains can evaporate. Without inclusive dialogue, credible elections, and sustained security operations against al-Shabaab, factories will stay on paper, investors will stay away. And ordinary Somalis, the mothers in IDP camps, the youth contemplating dangerous migration routes, will see little benefit. The regional dimension adds pressure. Ethiopia's port ambitions, Sudan's war-disrupting trade routes, and Eritrea's isolation all shape the Horn's economic geography. Somalia cannot industrialize in a vacuum. Somalia's industrialization push, turbocharged by China's zero tariffs, represents one of the most intriguing economic stories in the Horn of Africa today. It offers a pathway out of fragility, but only if Mogadishu can navigate its self-inflicted political chaos. This isn't just about tariffs and factories. It's about whether a nation long defined by conflict can finally write its own economic narrative. The coming months will be decisive. Will the term extension dispute be resolved through dialogue, or will it deepen divisions at the worst possible time? As an investigative journalist, I've learned that in places like Somalia, hope and hazard travel together. The world should watch closely, not just for the next outbreak of violence, but for the quiet deals and policy choices that will determine if this generation of Somalis inherits opportunity or more of the same. What do you think? Can economic incentives overcome political dysfunction in Somalia? Drop your thoughts below. Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. We'll continue tracking this story as it develops. Sources and further reading linked in the description. Stay informed, stay skeptical.